Welcome to Module F6, the final module of the Qlause Continuous Improvement Foundation: Safety, Ergonomics, and Sustainability. Over 5 modules, you've built a toolkit. You can see waste, organize a workplace, run experiments, build quality in, and hold your gains with standards. This module asks a different kind of question: improvement for whom? Because an improvement that makes the work faster but more dangerous, or cheaper but harder on your body, or leaner but dirtier, isn't an improvement at all. Today we'll look at how safety, ergonomics, and care for resources aren't a separate program run by another department. They're part of continuous improvement itself. Same eyes, same thinking, same habits you've already learned. Let's finish the foundation properly. Here's what you'll take away from this final foundation module. First, safety and CI share the same DNA. Spotting hazards uses exactly the same eyes as spotting waste, and the same rules: stop, fix, don't pass it on. Second, near misses are free lessons. Why reporting the accident that almost happened is one of the most valuable things you can do all week. Third, ergonomics. Fitting the work to the person, not the person to the work, and why a comfortable workstation is also a quality improvement. And fourth, green waste. Energy, water, and material waste is still waste. It costs money and it costs the environment, and you already know how to hunt it. One theme runs through all of it. Every improvement should leave the work safer, easier, and cleaner, not just faster. Let's start with why this module exists. Everything you've learned so far, waste, flow, quality, can be read as being about cost and speed. And for a long time, that's how improvement was measured. But modern CI asks more of every change. Is it safer? Is it easier on the person doing it? Is it cleaner? You've actually seen this coming through the whole program. The performance boards in Module 4 read SQDC, and safety is deliberately first, before quality, delivery, and cost. Module 3 upgraded 5S to 6S. The 6th S is safety. That ordering isn't decoration. It's a statement about what improvement is for. The business results matter, but they're built on people who go home healthy and a workplace that can sustain itself. This module makes that explicit. So here's the ground rule, and everything else in this module follows from it. An improvement that makes the work unsafe isn't an improvement. Speed gained by removing a guard is not a gain. A shortcut that saves 10 seconds and risks a hand is not a shortcut. Safety isn't one consideration among many, to be traded against output when things get busy. It's the precondition, the floor everything else stands on. And that has a practical meaning for every experiment you run from now on. Before you adopt a change, ask what it does to safety. And if the answer is, makes it worse, the experiment failed, whatever the stopwatch says. Here's the good news. You don't need to learn a new discipline for any of this. Safety runs on the same thinking you've already built. Look at the parallels. Spotting a hazard is waste spotting from Module 2. The same trained eyes, pointed at risk instead of motion. Stopping when something's unsafe is jidoka from Module 5. Stop and fix, applied to people instead of parts. A near miss is a defect that didn't quite happen. Free data, and it only surfaces in the blame-free culture Module 4 taught. The safe way of doing a task lives in the standard. The key points from Module 5 carry safety as well as quality. And the daily huddle from Module 4 starts with safety every single day. One thinking system. Safety is simply that system, pointed at the person. So how do you deal with a hazard once you've spotted it? The same way you dealt with errors in Module 5, and in the same order of strength. It's called the hierarchy of controls. Strongest, eliminate the hazard. Remove the sharp edge, the manual lift, the chemical entirely. If you can eliminate, substitute. Swap in something less dangerous. Then engineer it out. Guards, interlocks, extraction. The machine physically protects you. Weaker, administrative controls, procedures, training, signage. These rely on memory and attention. And last, personal protective equipment. Your gloves and glasses. Important, but it's the final layer, not the plan. Notice the pattern. It's poka-yoke logic exactly. Design beats discipline. A guard that makes contact impossible beats a warning sign every time. For the same reason a fixture beats a poster. When you find a hazard, push as high up this list as you can. Now, the most underused source of safety improvement in any plant, The near miss. The pallet that almost fell. The slip that almost turned an ankle. The two forklifts that almost met at the blind corner. Think of it as an iceberg. For every serious injury, there are dozens of minor ones. And beneath those, hundreds of near misses. Same causes, different luck. That means every near miss is a full accident report, delivered free of charge. The lesson without the injury. But here's the catch, and you know it from Module 4. Near misses only get reported where reporting is safe. If a near miss report earns an interrogation, people stop mentioning them, and the iceberg sinks out of sight until something surfaces the hard way. So the routine is exactly the quality loop from Module 5. Report it, look at the process, not the person, fix the cause, and write the fix into the standard. An accident that almost happened is a gift. Treat it like one. Safety isn't paperwork done to you once a year. It's a conversation held at the work, like the one in this picture. A leader and an operator at the station talking about what's real. What's the most dangerous thing about this job? What almost went wrong recently? What do you do here that the standard doesn't mention? This is Gemba thinking from Module 4, pointed at risk. The person who does the job every day knows where it bites. The awkward reach, the slippery patch on wet mornings, the guard that gets in the way and quietly gets bypassed. That knowledge only surfaces when someone asks, listens, and acts on what they hear. If you lead people, ask those questions this week. And if you're asked, answer honestly, including the workaround nobody's supposed to see. That honesty is what keeps the next person unhurt. Now to the second word in this module's title, ergonomics. It sounds technical, but the idea is one sentence. Fit the work to the person, not the person to the work. When there's a mismatch, a bench too low, a part too far, a tool that needs a hammer grip all shift, the human body adapts. And that's the problem. It adapts by absorbing the strain, silently, shift after shift. Unlike an accident, ergonomic injury is slow. No single moment goes wrong, but a back, a shoulder, or a wrist is being worn down a little every day. Musculoskeletal strain is one of the biggest causes of lost workdays in industry, bigger, at most sites, than accidents. And it's largely designable away, with the same Kaizen thinking you already use. The bench doesn't have to be too low. The part doesn't have to be that far away. Someone just has to see it, and say so. Ergonomic risk has three main ingredients, and once you know them, you'll see them everywhere. Force, how hard the body has to work. Heavy lifts, forceful gripping, pushing a stiff trolley. Posture, the positions the work forces. Bending, twisting, reaching overhead, working with wrists cocked. And repetition, how often it repeats without recovery. The same motion, hundreds of times a shift. Any one of them is manageable. The damage multiplies when they stack. A forceful grip, in an awkward posture, repeated all day. That's the combination that wears people down. And your body gives early warnings long before injury. Aches that arrive earlier in the shift than they used to. Numbness, one side always tired. Those warnings are data, the near-miss principle again. Report the ache before it becomes the injury, exactly like flagging the defect before it escapes. Here's the connection people miss. Ergonomics isn't just a well-being topic, it's a quality topic. Think back to Module 5. Humans make errors, and the job is to design work so errors can't become defects. Now ask, when do humans make the most errors? When they're tired, sore, and stretching past a comfortable reach. Fatigue is an error generator. The awkward angle where you can't quite see the connector, that's where it gets fitted backwards. The check you're supposed to do at eye level on a part that sits at your knees. That's the check that quietly stops happening. Fix the ergonomics and you haven't just made the job kinder, you've removed error traps. A workstation that's easy on the body produces better quality, more consistently, all shift long. Comfort isn't a luxury, it's a process parameter. The best ergonomic improvements are usually small, cheap, and found by the person doing the job, like the workstation adjustment in this picture. Work height, the elbow rule. Most bench work belongs around elbow height, precision work a little above, heavy work a little below. Reach zones. Things you use every cycle belong within forearm reach. Stretching past shoulder width hundreds of times a day is motion waste and strain at the same time. Lifting. Slide instead of lift. Raise the load to waist height. Use the aid that exists. And if it doesn't exist, that's an improvement idea. recovery, anti-fatigue matting where you stand, and rotation between tasks so the same muscles aren't loaded all shift. Notice something? Every one of these is also the waste of motion from Module 2. Ergonomic Kaizen and Lean Kaizen are usually the same Kaizen. The improvement that saves steps almost always saves strain. Now the third strand, sustainability. Why is the environment in a CI course? Because lean and green are the same discipline. Continuous improvement has always been about eliminating waste, and energy, water, and material waste is exactly that, waste. It shows up twice on the bill, once as cost. Every leak, every idle machine, every skip of scrap is money leaving the site, and once as environmental load, carbon, water, landfill. Customers and auditors increasingly ask about both. But here's the thing for the shop floor. You don't need to think about global targets to act on this. You just need to see green waste the way you already see the 8 wastes, as something concrete, local, and fixable. Same eyes, new color. So what does green waste look like? 6 faces you'll recognize immediately. Energy, machines idling between shifts, compressed air leaks hissing around the clock, lights burning in empty areas. Water, running taps, leaks, washdowns longer than they need to be. Materials, offcuts and trim, over-application of paint or glue or lubricant, yield loss to poor first-pass quality. Scrap and rework, the defects from Module 5, now counted twice. You paid to make them, and you pay again to dispose of them. Packaging, overwrapping, single use where returnable would do. And transport, Module 2's waste, now with fuel and emissions attached. Nothing on this list is abstract. Every item is something you can point at on the floor this week. One line to carry with you. Scrap is waste twice. You pay to make it, then you pay to throw it away. All the material, energy, and effort that went in, then the disposal cost on the way out, and the environmental cost both times. And energy waste has its own sting. It never clocks off. A compressed air leak isn't a small hiss. It's a hole in the pipe working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on full pay. The 110-100 logic from Module 5 applies here too. The cheapest unit of energy, water, or material is the one you never use. Hunting green waste works exactly like the waste walk from Module 2. Same walk, green eyes. Use your ears. That hiss is compressed air, one of the most expensive utilities in the plant, leaking on full pay. Use your eyes. Machines running with nothing to make. Lights on in empty rooms. A tap left running. Heat shimmering off something uninsulated. Read the bins. A skip full of offcuts, damaged parts, or over-ordered material that went out of date is a story about the process upstream. Every bin is a report, if you look inside. And watch the start and end of shift. The equipment that idles an hour before first part, or hums all night because switching off is nobody's job. You walked for motion and waiting in Module 2. Walk the same route once with energy and material in mind, and you will find things. Everyone does, the first time they look. Finding green waste is the easy half. Module 5 taught you the hard half. A gain that isn't standardized evaporates, so lock it in. A switch-off standard. What gets powered down at break, at shift end, at weekend. Named and visible, so it's a step in the routine instead of somebody's memory. A leak tag loop. Spot it, tag it, log it, and review the tags at the daily huddle until they're fixed. A tagged leak gets fixed. An untagged one hisses for years. Yield and energy on the board. Module 4's daily management with a green line on it. What the team sees daily, the team improves. And recycling at source. Sorted where the waste is created, with the same shadow board clarity Module 3 gave your tools. None of this is a campaign. Campaigns fade. These are standards and daily habits, the only 2 things this program has ever trusted to make a change stick. Here's what this looks like in practice. An operator finding and tagging a compressed air leak, like the one in this picture. It's a 30-second act. Hear it, tag it, log it at the huddle. But walk through what that half-minute did. It stopped a cost that was running 24 hours a day. It fed the daily management loop. The tag is now visible, tracked, and will be fixed rather than forgotten. And it said something to everyone who walks past. Here, we see this stuff, and we act on it. That's culture from Module 4, expressed through a plastic tag. Sustainability at foundation level isn't complicated. It's hundreds of these small, owned actions, spotted with waste eyes, locked in with standards, kept alive by the daily rhythm. Let's put the whole picture on one board. You met SQDC in Module 4, the huddle board that starts with safety, then quality, delivery, cost. Many sites now add an E for environment and read the board as SQDCE. Safety first, environment alongside cost, reviewed every day at the same huddle. And for every improvement you run, every experiment from Module 4, every standard you update from Module 5, there are now 3 extra questions in the check step. Is it safer, or at least as safe? Is it easier on the person? Is it cleaner, or at least no more wasteful? If a change is faster but fails those questions, it isn't finished. That's not bureaucracy. It's the definition of improvement finally being complete. Better for the customer, better for the business, better for the person doing the work, and better for the world outside the gate. The modern angle, briefly, because technology is making all 3 strands easier to see. Energy submetering shows consumption machine by machine, live. The compressed air leak appears as a line on a chart that doesn't go to 0 overnight. Sensors flag the abnormal, vibration, temperature, a valve passing when it shouldn't. The andon idea from Module 5, applied to utilities. And ergonomic assessment has gone digital. Camera-based posture analysis can score a workstation in minutes, and wearables can show which tasks load the back hardest. All useful. None of it changes the discipline. See it, measure it, improve it, standardize it. The sensors are new eyes. The thinking behind them is the same thinking you've been learning for 6 modules. So here's your part. 6 things, none of which need permission or a budget. Spot one hazard. Find it and either fix it or flag it. Push it up the hierarchy of controls if you can. Report one near miss. The thing that almost happened this week is a free lesson. Hand it in. Check your own station. Work height, reach, posture. Is anything wearing you down? Say so. That's a find, not a complaint. Find one energy or material waste. A leak, an idler, a bin that tells a story. Tag it or raise it at the huddle. Ask the 3 questions. On the next improvement you're part of, safer, easier, cleaner? And look after the person next to you. A new starter's untrained reach, a colleague's risky shortcut. Say something, kindly. That's what a safety culture actually is. 6 behaviors, and every one of them is this module, happening. Let's bring the module and the foundation together. Safety is the precondition. An improvement that makes work unsafe isn't an improvement. S comes first on the board. Same DNA. Hazard spotting is waste spotting. Stop and fix applies to people. The safe way lives in the standard. Near misses are free lessons. Report them blamelessly. Fix the process. Standardize the fix. Ergonomics is quality. Fit the work to the person. Force, posture, and repetition. Comfortable stations make fewer errors. Green waste is still waste. Energy, water, materials, scrap. It costs twice, and you hunt it with the same eyes. And lock it in. Standards, tags, and the daily huddle keep all of it alive. Safer, easier, cleaner. That's the complete definition of better. And that completes the foundation. 6 modules. Why continuous improvement matters, the 8 wastes and the eyes to see them, 6S and visual management, culture and scientific thinking, quality at the source and standard work. And today, people and planet. You now carry the complete foundation toolkit, and more importantly, the thinking behind it. So here's the closing thought of the whole tier. Leave every shift the way you'd want your family to find it. Safe, capable, and a little better than yesterday. You don't need permission for any of it. See one waste, run one experiment, raise one problem, improve one standard, protect one colleague. That's continuous improvement, not a program, but a way of working, built by people like you, one shift at a time. Thank you for completing the foundation, and I hope to see you in the Tier 2 modules, where team leads and frontline teams take these ideas deeper into daily practice.